It's in the name.
Welcome into the Helping Healing Humor with Ben and Travis podcast. And Will. Today we're going to talk a little bit about it being the week of World Mental Health Day. That'll be on the 10th. This will be coming out on the 8th. But really, every day is a mental health day, especially around these parts. And we'll have that important conversation right after these important messages. This episode of the Helping Healing Humor with Ben and Travis podcast is presented by Faulkner University. Faulkner University is a private Christian liberal arts university based in Montgomery, Alabama, with a mission to provide an education anchored by not only intellect, but also character and service. The Faulkner experience aims to educate the whole person. Every individual matters every day. We all want to become better versions of ourselves. No one wants to remain trapped where they are because of missed opportunities and unrealized dreams. At Faulkner University, we believe your dreams don't have an expiration date. We understand that you're looking for more than a degree. You want to find your niche and thrive in your career. Whether you're a high school senior just beginning your trek or an adult student looking for a better path, Faulkner is here to help guide your journey. Go to faulkner.edu to apply or get more info. That's faulkner.edu. I'm Travis Creasy with the Riverside Christian Academy, campus minister, football coach, middle school mentor, and I fit right in there with them. And that's Ben Hayes
extraordinaire.
That's Ben Hayes with Three Chord Counseling, Muscle Shoals, Alabama, preaching minister for the Highland Park Church of Christ. How are you, Ben?
I'm doing good. It's been a pretty good day today, and just happy to be hanging out with you guys. Wilbur, how you doing down there?
I'm over there.
Oh, you're over there? You're down there.
Well, down here, but over there from you.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you are over there from me. Whichever direction that is.
Yeah, North Carolina. But we're making it. We're doing good. So I'm just glad to be hanging out with y'all.
Sweet. Well, as I mentioned, it is going to be this week on the 10th. That'd be World Mental Health Day. And, of course, this is a mental health podcast, the Helping Healing Humor with Ben and Travis podcast. And Ben being the counselor, Will and I from time to time get free counseling via the interwebs, and certainly want to share that with you folks. And, you know, there's a part of that it just comes with confession and openly saying we just need help from time to time. We just recorded last week's episode talking about how we're kind of less than perfect and how, most importantly, God can use that in his plan, and how we come along and the things that we experience uniquely equip us to help others who are going through similar experiences. And I think that a lot of times the devil, the world, a lot of the evil and negativity in the world wants you to kind of make you feel like you're alone in this whole thing. And that just seems to be a running theme over the last few weeks, talking about, I know your Friday Refresh episode, the real A-team, and what are the benefits of the church. One of the benefits that we're doing, the local church, the worldwide church, universal church, you might say, is that we are not alone, and that it's amazing the people that the Lord brings into our life, whether it's via one-on-one in-person relationships or via Zoom or StreamYard. Maybe they won't kick us off for saying Zoom on a StreamYard, but or via podcast. We really hope that these episodes, this podcast, helps those who may be looking for help. That's why it's in the name. So Ben, it's important for the world to pause and think about mental health, right?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, we're in a time where I think it's a whole lot more acceptable, socially, and, used to, it seemed like people had to hide the fact that they were going to therapy. I think even, at school, I've seen a change over the last several years of where, you were afraid to, be walking out of class to go talk to the counselor. Now it seems like it's a little bit more acceptable, which is a good thing, because, there are times I think that, when you go, well, what's the benefit of it, or why do people do that? And I think there's a lot of different reasons. Sometimes people just need somebody to talk to. I found that to be the case with a lot of folks, and I've had parents tell me they're not going to talk to you, and then they do.
Because I'll put that mental health karate on them, and boom.
And I would say, hey, there's just something special that I do that does that, but it's not. It's just that I listen. I'm just trying to listen, and that's the whole thing. Is I think sometimes, in the book How to Talk So Your Kids Will Listen and Listen So Your Kids Will Talk. There's ways that you can shut down a conversation. A kid comes in upset, and you say, well, you shouldn't feel that way. Well, there it went. You just ended that conversation, and they walk out. But if you say, man, it sounds like you're upset, it sounds like you're pretty frustrated, you start using things like that, they keep talking about it. And I think there's a lot of people who just don't have anybody they feel real comfortable talking to about it. And so, or it's something that, they'd rather talk to a stranger or somebody that's not family, somebody that's not going to judge them or try to, tell them what they should do, who already knows the situation. They like, to get some other ideas. So I think there's a lot of different reasons. And so people come for that. One of the big things I've talked about before is sometimes it's just about that relationship. Like you said, it's about having some body that they can talk to and feel comfortable with. And a lot of, they've done research about which techniques are the most impressive or the best or the most useful to people in counseling. And what they discovered was the relationship was the most important aspect of it, is, developing a good, professional relationship with the people that you're, working with.
So, Will, how do you do it, man? How do you get these teenagers to confide in you? Because it seems like they love you, and they do. There's a lot of times you're hitting us up saying, "Hey, pray for so and so," or this situation. Usually, it's a situation you don't divulge names because you're good like that. But more and more, I'm like, all right, I'm the old guy in the room. I need to be educated, and my wife tells me that oftentimes I need to fix my face. Because, yeah.
If we could just all be like Whitney, we'd probably be 10 times better.
She does put up with a lot. She has an experience dealing with a lot.
I had a kid the other day that I was talking to that said, I appreciate you and Lindsay and the relationship that I have with y'all because you're consistent. And I thought that was really interesting. And of course they ragged on me. They were like, well, you don't take us like all these like really cool places, or we may not have, the biggest event or, like whatever. But they said the one thing we do appreciate is like, I know I can call you at 2 a.m. I know that you're going to be at my ball game. I know that you're going to stop by school. There were all of these other moments of, hey, your presence is there. And I think that may be some of it, that a lot of times we go, hey, I'd rather give somebody, $100 and pay for their counseling, or I would rather take them just food or drop something off or just something quick. But I think consistency takes effort. It takes time, but it really is the most impactful.
Yeah.
And we've really tried to do that in our ministry to a point of just going like, hey, if you feel like, and Lindsay's so wonderful about this, that all these high school girls that have confided in her, it's like, hey, our front door is always open to you. And if you come, I'm going to bake cookies and we're going to sit on the couch and we'll kick Will and Emmy into the bedroom and let them go do whatever. And I'm just going to sit here, whether it's 2:00 in the morning or midnight. And I think kids are looking for that. I think adults are looking for that. Just a meaningful, like what Ben said, just a meaningful connection of here's not somebody that I even need to fix any problems with. It's just somebody that cares and that I can talk to. And of course, I've got the greatest resources in Karen and Ben, in our congregation, that I can just go, hey, if it gets to a point where we feel like something is off and we feel like there should be counseling, I get advice from them or they help me get them connected to somebody else or anything of that sort. But in my 15 years of ministry, there have been maybe 6 kids that I've sent on to counseling. And the majority of them just needed somebody to sit and talk to every week. Yeah. Once they sat and just talked it out. And I think we we sometimes, and I've even mentioned to kids, well, have you ever thought about counseling? And it's like, my parents would never let me do that because I don't have any mental health issues. And I'm like, that's not what we mean by
We
counseling.
like to keep it that way. So go to counseling,
Yeah.
It's like,
It's like this, it's such a taboo topic. I think it's getting better, but I still believe in society. It's like, oh, well, people that only have, this problem, and this problem are the ones that go to counseling.
Right.
I'm just going, well, last time I checked, like, I haven't been told I have any problems, but I've gone to counseling, and there's a bunch of people that have, and so it's just, a lot of times people just need an outlet, and with teenagers, I mean, y'all are parents. A lot of times it's not going to be the parent, and so we just try to team up with the parent and go, we want to pull with you and do everything that we can, but that consistency of the relationship, the constant contact. I text my youth group kids every morning, and just going, hey, I'm here for you. I care about you. I believe in you. Just some words of affirmation every single day. And you'd be amazed at how many will text me back. Like one of Ben's daughters texted me back the other day and said, you don't realize how much the good morning texts have done for me this week. And I'm just going, that's so simple, but it's that every day. So maybe there's some small impact that all of us can do to better everybody's mental health in the big scheme of things.
And even like, I think the other thing about the counseling is, the relationship is really important. But I think there's so many times that therapeutic relationship or that time sitting down, even when they're sitting down with you, or if they're going to a counselor and they're talking to them, the other part that's a really big benefit there is that sometimes you talking about those things helps you figure out the scenario. It's not that the counselor knows more than you. It's not that, they have every answer in the world, but they know how to get you to think a little bit different about things. Yeah. And it's like getting that other perspective. And a lot of what I do is challenging, like challenging thoughts. Like when they say something, I go, okay, I want you to hear me say that, or let me, you said this while ago and now you said this. So which one is it? Because they may go against each other, or it may be something that's like, they're saying something, but they don't realize they're saying it. And then once it's called out to them, it's like, oh yeah, I do think that, don't I? Or, whatever. And so there's things like that as they talk, and that's a key, if there's not some talking, it's difficult, to do a lot with. Kids are a little different. You're playing with them, you're playing some games or doing some things that gets them talking and gets them at least acting out some of the stuff that they might be facing. But most of the time with adults, you're trying to just get them to share some things. And then from that, we're kind of trained to pick out certain phrases or certain actions, or sometimes to just, I've done this with a lot of people. I go, you're saying this, but your face is saying something else,
Fix your face.
Yeah.
Fix your face.
Well, it's not so much about fixing the face, but like you're telling me one thing,
Yeah.
your face is telling me something else. So there's a disconnect from what you're saying to what I think you're feeling, And so those are kind of the things I think that it's not so much about I've got the answer for you. I'm helping you see the answer that you need, that there's something that you're looking for, and I'm helping you find things that you've probably got at your fingertips. You just don't realize you have them, and a lot of times it's like, if you talk to your parents or find some people who can support you, or there might be apps that help you if it's pornography or if it's something like that. There may be some programs that you can be a part of. There may be something right down the road from your house for your addictions or whatever the case may be. We're just trying to put you in connection with the right resources.
So there's this movie a few years ago called Get Smart, which obviously is made off of a TV show from many moons ago. Not calling anybody old out there, but It's got the guy who was Michael Scott in The Office. It's got The Rock, and of course, Steve Carell, Michael Scott, is the main character, and he gets this great news. He's going to be upgraded to, an agent, and he requests the cone of silence. And basically the thing comes down and you're able to say whatever you want to say. And he's super excited, but he doesn't want to show it or say what he wants to say in front of everyone. And so he steps aside. He goes, I'm requesting the cone of silence. The thing comes down. Well, it malfunctions. And he says it, and everybody sees him say it. He's like, oh, you guys saw that. They said the quiet part out loud. And there are times where I just need to say the quiet part out loud. And I think I've said this over a couple of episodes, but it's, I just need to say it. I know it's wrong-headed thinking. I know it's not the right perspective. I even know that it doesn't align with what Jesus would have me do. Yeah. But there's something about just getting it out there. And, we are all blessed to have some leading ladies in our life who probably get to hear more of that than they actually want to. Yeah. But it's nice to have that when you can have it. And a lot of times we talk about how the ladies they don't want us to fix it. And there are a lot of times I don't want a pep talk. I know I said this on last week's episode, but it's kind of one of those things where, it's just right now, like I said, a lot of inconvenience is building up, and I just got to say it to somebody. And, maybe I'm even like, all right, Whitney, you probably just need to leave the room so that I can say these things. But, to have somebody that you can confide in and to confess, it's no shock that the Bible tells us that's an important part of our walk with the Lord and with our church friends and our church family, that we can confess that, hey, I'm just struggling right now. And I don't know why, or I do know why, and I need help to go along with that. And so, that great cloud of witnesses that we're surrounded by. Talked about less than perfect day. You look at the Bible, there's only one perfect guy in there, and the Bible is about one hero, and that's God. But it shows all these people who are flawed individuals that God still used. And so I guess the point we're trying to get to is that whatever you're facing, whatever struggle you've got, God has a plan for you, and you have a purpose and a value in that. So, get it off your chest, share it with somebody.
Yeah, there's something, like we talk a lot from our faith perspective. And I believe that, we were created to be communal people. We're not supposed to do it by ourselves. And that was the way he made it when he made a helper or help meet, and I think that the way we're created. But even people who are, who don't believe in that same concept, they still believe that we are communal people, in science, that, all the way back, the people who claim evolution or whatever else, they still would say, like, you need people. That's how, we developed. And so, I don't think anybody really thinks we're supposed to do this by ourselves. And so I think that's where kind of counseling steps in. And I may have used this story. I read it somewhere about these two sages, wise men that were, from different parts of the countryside, and people would go to these two separate men all the time with their problems and talk to them about their problems. And they'd heard of each other, but they didn't know each other. And they were kind of almost like rivals, And so they had this whole thing going on. Well, one day, one of them was having a pretty bad struggle, and he decides, I'm going to go find this other guy. I'm going to go find this man and confide in him. And on the road, he meets this gentleman who, ends up helping him and doing some things for him. And what it turns out is it was the two of them ended up meeting, but they didn't know for years down the road that they were actually both going to each other in that moment. And later on in life, he discovered he was coming to talk to him, and the other one was going to talk to him. And when they ran into each other, they formed this relationship, and it made them stronger and better and all this stuff. And later on, they found out on that day that they met, they were both going to meet each other. And so,
little did they know, those two guys were Ben Hayes and Will Mayan. It's nuts. Crazy. What a crazy origin story, man.
But that even these helpers needed somebody to talk to, and I'm thankful to have you guys. I'm thankful to have some other individuals who are counselors and some who are not, who I can pretty much send anything to and go, hey, I've got issues, I got something I need to work out. I've got some things I need to talk to somebody about. And so, everybody needs people. So don't turn away from that. We can learn coping skills from all kinds of different people. And I hope as a counselor, I'm able to help those who come to me.
Really just would encourage people to give it a shot. Yeah. I mean, really just as far as your mental health, I have a family member that never ever believed in chiropractors, and said they're quacks, they're weird, they're, it's like this, they believed it, this voodoo magic. And they went a month ago and they're like, hey, like those people really know what they're doing. Like, yes, they do. And they're not crazy. And it's a type of medicine that can make your life better. And mental health is the same way. People may think that it's weird, but give it a shot because the benefits are so immense and the blessings will continue to bless your life moving forward. And so I would just, even if you're not struggling, man, everybody has those days where it's just good to talk to somebody. And so don't ever feel like I don't think we can heal in isolation. I think healing comes from connection and community and the things Ben spoke about. So I just think it's such a vital thing that Lindsay and I will continue to push into these younger generations.
Hey, parents and young adventurers, are you ready to embark on an extraordinary journey? Introducing the adventures of Ben and Travis and the Worry Coaster, a thrilling ride through the ups and downs of mental health in our new children's book. Join our dynamic duo as they navigate the twists and turns of their emotions while discovering the courage to conquer their worries. Pre-order your ticket to adventure now at benandtravis.com/books and be among the first to embark on this roller coaster of resilience. Let's turn worry into wonder and empower kids to embrace their feelings with bravery and hope. Buckle up. It's going to be an unforgettable ride. Ben, you got the Friday Refresh. It's a great motivational podcast. It actually does a lot of good, unlike the good old-fashioned dislike. So, but you put that out every other Friday. It's a great motivational. Been enjoying those like crazy. They're quick, 3 to 5 minute, good shot in the arm to get the day done. And so the Friday Refresh question of the day is that actually October 8th, the day this comes out, will be National Justin Day or National Lance Day. And so, and then the actual 10th is actual National Hug a Kevin Day. So on the 10th, World Health, Mental Health Day. And also, I wish I could hug my brother Kevin Day, but he's in Indiana. But yeah, if I could, Kevin, shout out to you who never listens to this podcast. But hey, I said what I said. But if you're just going to a Justin, right, you're going to have a Justin beside you. Which Justin are you going with? I will say one of the greatest wrestling names in wrestling history is a guy by the name of Justin, last name Credible.
Just incredible. That's...
Just incredible. So,
oh man,
have you got a Justin? Maybe a Justice. I know you're a Braves fan, so maybe Dave Justice.
Dave Justice was pretty incredible. I had a guy I went to high school with, Justin Chandler, cool guy. Enjoyed
riveting podcast right here.
Yeah, riveting. I was my thought was I probably would hang out with Justin Timberlake. Just because he seems like a pretty funny guy.
Yeah.
Like I'm I was never like a huge fan of the music part of it. So if I'm just going to go with a famous Justin, that's who I'm thinking of. I don't know a whole lot about like Justin Martyr, but that was
nice pull.
I'm sure some pretty incredible stories. So if I want to go serious, I'm probably, some time with Justin Martyr and a translator so I can know what he's saying. But Justin Timberlake, maybe, I guess.
Well, don't be so quick to walk away. Will, what you got?
Timberlake definitely. He was up there as someone. Lindsay and I actually used some Timberlake music to walk down the aisle in our wedding. So that just kind of has a a soft spot there just from the memories. Lindsay would say Justin Bieber. I would just rather fly to the other end of the world.
I have to hear Justin Bieber every morning on the way to school with teenage girls.
Yeah,
so, middle school girl.
No thanks on that. Now, gonna pull one out. You, Travis, will like this. Justin Tucker.
Yeah.
The Baltimore Ravens is just a very interesting guy, very charismatic guy. Also helped me win fantasy football last year. So,
well, a good old-fashioned dislike episode that's coming soon is the renewed rivalry between Texas A&M and Texas, and Justin Tucker actually scored the last points between the two to send Texas A&M home with a loss, an L in their last matchup. So yeah, nice. Some good Justins there. If you're watching this on Facebook or wherever, and you can comment with your favorite Justin or a Kevin that you would hug. I would also hug Kevin Malone from The Office.
Kevin off of the Minions is incredible.
Yeah. So there you have it, guys. And that's just right off the top of their head, ladies and gentlemen. It's kind of impressive, to be honest. But appreciate you guys jumping on. And, of course, we are appreciative of anyone who listens. Be sure to hit that subscribe button so that you get this good old content right where you like it, wherever you're listening to it. So check us out all over the place, benandtravis.com. Appreciate you guys.
Appreciate you. And don't forget about Lance the Turtle off of Veggie Tales.
Nice.
Have a good one.
Or Lance Storm, another wrestler.
Thanks for being with us for this episode of the Helping Healing Humor podcast. Be sure to download our free ebook, 28 Days of Focused Living, at benandtravis.com and receive all of our Helping Healing and Humor extra content directly in your inbox. We look forward to having you join us at the same Ben and Travis time, same Ben and Travis channel.